Hey guys, it's Shara from Woodshop Diaries, and today I'm going to show you how to build a twin-size bed porch suite. Now this is a fairly large build, but it was pretty simple and it only took a day to put together. So if you're ready to get building, let's go. A friend of mine recently asked me to build her a porch swing large enough to fit a twin-size mattress, which is quite large, but I must admit that it's a good size for napping. So if it'll fit, I recommend it. However, if a twin size is a little too big for your space, I'm sharing the plans for both a twin and a smaller crib size mattress swing at the link in the description, so you've got a couple of sizing options. As far as materials for the twin size, I used 5 1x4x8 boards, 1 1x6x8 board, 6 2x4x10 boards, and 2 2x6x8 boards. Since my friend was using a thin foam mattress, I did also purchase a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood to give the seat some solid support, but for a typical spring mattress, you likely won't need this piece. I purchased these boards from my local lumberyard this time, and they were a little rougher than I typically find at the big box store, so I got all of the splinters for free. Okay, I wanted to leave 2 quick notes about the materials here. Notice that I'm using untreated pine/spruce for this project. This swing is going under a large covered porch, and the way that it's positioned, it won't really have any direct sunlight and it won't be subject to much, if any, rain. So I just kept it lighter weight and cheaper by going with untreated lumber. However, if you need more protection from the elements in your case, this project would work fine with treated, cedar, redwood, or just another more weather-resistant option. This project did call for using some 2x2s in the build. Now you won't see the 2x2s in my stack of materials because I cut my own 2x2s from 2x4s using a table saw. However, if you don't have a table saw, you can definitely just use pre-cut 2x2s from the store, and that would work just fine. You can find the materials list, all of the details, and the full plans in the link below. Okay, so now that all of the information is covered, I think it's finally time to get to the fun stuff, and let's start building. This project started off with building a frame for the seat. The front and back pieces were 2x6s and the shorter side pieces were 2x4s. I trimmed these boards down to length, then assembled using 2 7/8 inch timber screws. Regular screws would work fine here, but I had a few extra of these in the shop and I just liked how the bigger black screw heads looked for this, so I used them. Notice that I kept the 2x4s flush to the bottom side of the 2x6s. The mattress will sit down into the frame a little and rest on these 2x4s. Once the seat frame was together, next I added 2x4s at each corner. Again, regular wood screws would work fine here, but I just like the look of the timber screws. Next, I attached 2x2s between the 2x4s using pocket holes and exterior grade pocket hole screws. Now, if you don't have a pocket hole jig, you can use 4-inch wood screws through the 2x4s to secure these, toenail the screws by driving them at an angle, or just simply screw these pieces on the top side of these 2x4s instead of between them. If you add these on top, you will need to make the vertical slats in the next step just a little bit longer, but it's not a big deal. Notice also that the back 2x2 is inset from the back edge about 3/4 inch. Once the 2x2s were secure, it was time to add the slats. I used 1x4 boards for the slats, 5 on each side and 10 across the back. So I've got 10 short pieces for the back and 10 longer pieces for the sides. So what I'm gonna do here for attaching these is, because I'm going to put a 2x4 at the top here to trim and smooth all of this top section out, I'm just gonna attach these with screws through the top, so those will be covered with the 2x4, so I'm not worried about it. And then I'm just gonna screw these in here, and then I'm gonna come back with a 1x6 to trim it out so that it matches the thickness of the front piece. Once they were cut to length, I found the center of each 2x2 and started there, working my way out using a scrap 1x4 piece to evenly space them. I used 2-inch exterior wood screws at the top through the 2x2 supports, making sure to pre-drill every hole. Then I used the same screws to secure them at the bottom. While you watch these slats come together, I wanted to take a minute to introduce you to our video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators on topics like illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. I've had several people ask me lately about how to get started with their own creative online business, and if that's you, Skillshare is a great place to start. They offer classes about creating engaging video content for various platforms like YouTube and TikTok, photography and editing tricks, and how to level up your creative writing skills. Plus, they offer classes on marketing and entrepreneurship for the business side of things. I recently watched Marcus Brownlee's YouTube Success Script, Shoot, and Edit class, and it was fascinating learning how he got started with his YouTube channel and how he plans out his script, visuals, and storyboard for his videos. If you're interested in getting started, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring today. Now, let's get back to the build. Notice that the slats on the sides are attached on the outside of the bottom frame, but the slats on the back are attached to the inside of the bottom frame. Once all the slats were in place, I cut and attached 2x4s along the top edge to act as an armrest and to cover up all the screw heads. I used screws from the underside of the 2x2s to attach these so you wouldn't see the screw heads from the top side. Then I cut a piece of the 1x6 board to trim both sides of the swing. This 1x6 will cover the screw heads from the slats and also match the 2x6 thickness on the front, so it's basically just for looks. I used exterior grade wood glue on the slats and brad nails to attach. To give the mattress some support, I added some 2x4s on the bottom using pocket holes and screws. Now, you don't have to use pocket holes here. If you don't have a pocket hole jig, you can use regular or timber screws through the front and back supports instead. I evenly spaced 3 supports along the bottom, and if you're using a spring type mattress, this would probably be plenty of support. But the foam mattress that my friend was using was a little flimsy, so I actually cut a piece of 3/4 inch plywood to sit down into this frame on these supports. But I'll show you more of that in a minute. Once these supports were in place, I added the final pieces, which were the runners that the ropes will be tied to hold the swing. I cut 2 2x4 boards, one for the front and one for the back, so that they would overhang each side of the swing about 6 inches. I screwed these in from the bottom side using several screws into the frame of the swing. Then I used an outdoor stain and sealant to just give it some color and protect the wood. Once that was dry, I could attach the ropes. Okay, so I bought this rope kit that I'm gonna hang the swing with, and it comes with 4 ropes. And I need to drill holes in the swing so that I can stick these through and tie a knot. So I guess I need to measure this diameter. I think the internet said it's supposed to be 3/4. That looks about right. I bet this will drill a prettier hole than those spade bits will. Let's try this. I used a 3/4 inch Forstner bit to drill holes through the bottom 2x4s to slip the ropes through and tie a knot. I will link the rope kit that I used for this in the description, and what's cool about them is that they are totally adjustable. So I could just tie them on, and once we got it installed, adjust the rope length as needed. Now, I forgot to charge my camera battery before we hung the swing, so I didn't get the footage of actually installing it. But I'll explain to you what we did. Basically, we just located the rafters in the ceiling that most closely matched the holes that I drilled to install the ropes. Now, the rafters ended up being just a little bit wider than what the holes in the bottom of the swing for the ropes were, so you'll notice that the ropes do angle out a little, which is better than angling in, because if they angled in, they would rub the armrest of the porch swing. Once we located those rafters, we just pre-drilled some holes to install some eye screws, and then used these clips to clip between the eye screws and the rings on the rope kit. These rope kits are really neat in that they are fully adjustable, so in order to adjust, you just slide the rope up and down through these loops to get it higher or lower depending on what you need. Once we got the swing hung and put the foam mattress in, that's when I realized that it needed a solid bottom. So I went back and cut a piece of plywood to fit, stained it to match, and placed it in the swing. Now, depending on the type of mattress that you use here, that may or may not be necessary. But now it's ready for swinging, napping, or lounging all summer long. I'm so glad I now have a friend with a nice big porch swing so I can come over all the time and quote-unquote borrow it. This was such a fun project to put together, and I really hope you enjoyed seeing it. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe and follow along so you don't miss out on what's coming next. Also, don't forget to grab the plans to build your own in the link below. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and until next time, happy building!